I'm a candidate for Buncombe County, sheriff here in Buncombe County.
What's going to be your vision, or what is the first thing that you're excited to tackle, or maybe not something that has any issues, but you're like, I know I can improve that. Or
Sure.
Welcome back, guys. This is Rodrigo Fonador with Asheville Real Estate News. As always, really excited to sit down and have conversations about real estate here in the Asheville area. As a reminder, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, I was going to say Spotify, not Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and check us on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook especially as well. If you like what we're doing, if the topics are interesting, just let us know below and we'll keep doing it. If you have any questions specifically that we haven't addressed yet or that you want us to address, just let us know again in the comments or reach out to us. One really exciting announcement, and just again, this is our trying to do our best to reach out to you wherever you are, is if you go to our website, avlrealestatenews.com, you'll see a sign-up form so you can subscribe to our monthly newsletter. Don't worry, it's only going to be once a month, and it's going to be a recap of the episodes with a little bit of a write-up so you can pick and choose whatever topics are relevant to you and kind of get an idea of what's coming in the future. All right, well, that's enough house cleaning. So really excited to sit down with you, Mr. Smart, and talk law enforcement, real estate, and everything else Asheville real estate related. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, cool, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I know you've been here for in the area for a long time. I got here in 2009, but are you a local? Or
Very good. I'm a native of Buncombe County.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And you've been in law enforcement for how many years?
I've been employed at the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office for 25 years. Started here on the road as a deputy sheriff.
Okay.
And I'm currently a captain over criminal investigations at the Sheriff's Office.
Okay, very cool. And so it's 25 years. Obviously, change has happened no matter what you do and where you're at. But if you were to look back at Asheville specifically, has there been one area of change or something specific? You're like, wow, I can't believe that.
I do that even today.
Yeah.
Again, going back 25 years, in my experience and my time on the road, we're talking 2-lane roads, 74, Airport Road, Hendersonville Highway. It goes back,
right.
And so seeing the expansion here in Buncombe County, it has been amazing.
And has there been anything inside of the police department that isn't necessarily Asheville related, just about the way you all work or the way you guys communicate, and that has changed, or that you've been like, wow, that's crazy to see the difference?
The technology, the technology base that we use today versus the old way of everything was driven by paper and pen. Slow process, a lot of folders, a lot of inability to communicate at any kind of speed. And looking at what way our officers are equipped today, we have computers in all cars. We're moving. We're paperless, digital. The equipment type, the advancements have been amazing in those 25 years.
Yeah, it's. I've only been in business like 5 years, on my own, and just in those 5 years, like the way things are shifting, it feels like every day it's like a new app for something or new technology that can be leveraged or applied. It's hard to keep up, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is, and again, it does help us better do our job. We have apps that work off of our phone, obviously, as that's the new trends, and so we can do that. I can be in the office and be monitoring calls for service on the cell phone, and so that just helps us actually provide better services. But it's great to see the technology landed where it is.
Yeah, no, excellent. And looking forward, if you were to say what are you like the most excited for that's up and coming, when it can be personal thing, doesn't necessarily have to be like in the sheriff's department or whatnot, and just like something you're working on or something that career-wise or family-wise?
Absolutely. One thing I'd like to announce, and for those that do not know, I'm a candidate for Buncombe County sheriff here in Buncombe County. Our filing will be next week, and so we're very, very excited about that. We've got a lot of energy in the community, and we want to. The sheriff's department is in a great place, and again, we want to continue our services we provide for the citizens of Buncombe County.
No, really exciting. Congratulations on that.
Thank
It's
you.
Always a fun milestone to see when everything's like that, as far as just progressions. Did you ever think you'd be making an announcement of that type?
I did not, and not to say I don't take that job seriously, but again, I've worked very closely and been part of the command staff with Sheriff Duncan, and he has reached the point, made the decision to retire, and that's what has driven this. And so, as I started my career and moved forward, I never thought that I'd be in a position to be in the political arena running for sheriff, but I'm willing to do it. Our folks there are excited. Our command staff's willing to stay with me. Our folks support us there, and so I have just a tremendous amount of internal support. And like I say again, we had a wonderful sheriff's department. Worked hard. We got great employees there.
Yeah, no, obviously that's something I'm super excited about. If kind of got the support of everybody around you. And,
Yes,
and
yes,
always,
I'm humbled, no doubt. Very honored
cool.
and humbled.
Yeah, no, super exciting. As obviously this show is about real estate, and a little bit, that's kind of the main theme of everything. And I don't know, I know this is going to be a little off the cuff question, but I don't know if you have any real estate specific story that's worth sharing. In the time that you've been in the police department. I mean, I know there's a lot of different ways that the sheriff's department is involved in real estate. Sometimes it's really positive, and then other times, sometimes they're not seen in the best light, and it just depends what side of the field or the fence you're on.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't draw that conclusion between law enforcement, real estate. Obviously, one of the duties of the sheriff is to do civil service paper service, which means if someone doesn't pay rent or someone does not pay their mortgage, papers are filed, and the sheriff would do the eviction of someone from a residence, and that is the duty that the sheriff has, and that's one segment of what we do. But one of the things that impacts on what we see, and again, over the years that I've had the opportunity to be there in different positions, we constantly get calls from people that are looking to relocate in here to Buncombe County, people that are looking into real estate. Obviously, those questions are going to be very quickly driven around what's the crime rate, the community I'm looking at, can you give me some general idea, is it a safe community? And again, then also that conversation will drive over to our schools as well. And so we get a lot of that information. We realize the importance, obviously, of a safe community. A lot of times you hear a lot of stuff out there, but you really I think we take that for granted sometimes. We work really hard to make sure that we create a safe community, which again will be very impactful. Obviously, we as a homeowner, making those decisions is a big decision. It's a big step. It's probably one of the largest decisions that one would make.
From a financial perspective, typically.
Yeah, I know early on, and to get through those hurdles, that's probably 30% maybe of your income that you're attaching to your purchase of a home or where you live, and so a lot of times we may look on it early on, but it certainly can affect you. It certainly can affect you. And we work very close with our communities to make sure that we don't lose any ground, because we don't want folks investing in a neighborhood and then crime get out of control. Because the crime and danger will definitely.
What do you think the correlation is with that, right? So one of the hot topics and that have come up, I don't know, say recently, the last few months to a year, has been, everything like the gentrification, just the change of like the West Asheville scene, for instance, and how is that affecting other neighborhoods? I know it's a delicate balance, but I've heard that some people say that, when new people come into a neighborhood that, like West Asheville, from what I've heard, I wasn't here around, but it used to not be what it is now. And that influx of new people helped bring the community up to what would be considered safer now than it was then. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's the correlation? I think that's very good. We've seen that in our community. We've seen communities where people come in again, and it's that pressure to look and invest. And again, and those decisions are made early on, and is that something to do? But absolutely, it can definitely make a huge impact in growth of the community and actually make a turn when people are making those investments, and certainly businesses and how that works. But again, it is a balance, and we want to be very careful in regards to that. One, that we have a community safe in general, all over Buncombe County, but also that we maintain and we're aware and very vigilant in the fact that our crime rates are down. And again, a little braggish, but since 2007, our property crimes in Buncombe County have just spiraled in a downward trend. And so we put a lot of energy on that, a lot of resources in regards to that. Again, violent crime, it was one that probably would be more impactful, and we were doing a really good job there as well.
Wow, that's a great stat as far as on that type of chart. That's the way you want to see is trending it downwards.
Yes, sir.
So, you're in the middle of the campaign, and how's that been? Just going back to that a little bit, you were never expecting it. So why did you decide to take the plunge, become public figure, and there's a lot of exposure around that.
Well, it's a big step, and it is. And starting out as a deputy sheriff, as you work in a area where the boss, the sheriff, is an elected official. Deputy sheriffs do not get involved in political matters, and you do your job, and that is part of what you do. And so, not being in politics through most of my life, and then stepping out into this arena has been a big learning curve for me. What I do enjoy, though, is going out and talking to business owners, talking to citizens in the community, and having these meetings, The conversations that are easy and really that we're not having is that we have a huge crime problem in Buncombe County. They're not, the safety. We do not.
Oh,
we do not.
Okay,
so those conversations are not really, and so people are very, very happy about where we are and the community that we live in, and feel very comfortable with that. And so a lot of times, certainly when you're talking about law enforcement issues, when you get out there, a lot of times you expect to say, well, there's a high crime rate, or there's unsafe areas in the community, or we're having issues in our school systems that we don't believe our children aren't safe, and we're not having those. We're very fortunate in Buncombe County that we're very balanced in that, and that's very exciting to hear that.
Yeah,
when we go
of course.
out. But being out, I guess one of the things I've enjoyed the most is being out and being able to talk to folks throughout Buncombe County, and our we have invested at the Sheriff's Department a lot in our communities, and we've broken down into teams and went out to do problem solving issues in the county, and very quickly. Again, I've been doing this a long time, and we look at it from stats and resources and all the things that we want to accomplish. But really quickly, when we got out in the community, face-to-face conversations, we realized how different our communities are. And what the needs are and what the issues are, they're all different throughout as you move through there. And so slowing down a minute to have those conversations, to see what are on people's mind. And it can be...
I was about to ask you, is there something in those conversations that surprised you more than anything else?
No, other than the fact of where you could have one conversation in a neighborhood where they feel like there is an area that might be drug problems or drug activity. Right. And that's very concerning. You go to another neighborhood, and it can just be as simple as a speeding in the road in front of them. So it can vary, but that impacts their life and the quality of life.
Well, for them, it's the most important issue.
And when we found out, when we get to looking at some of these issues, what role does law enforcement have, and what impact can we make? And a lot of times, it's not about enforcement; it's about communication, and it's about, can we bring other people to the table to solve the problem? And to say that is a lot of times, obviously in real estate, you can have an area where some property is in limbo and can get really run down. It can start drawing a crowd, or it can just look bad. And so a lot of times we've been able to get together and partner with and make impacts there. We've been able to go out and clean up areas where litter's been, again, you wouldn't think that's a law enforcement job, but when it impacts and people come to you and say, hey, we've got a litter problem out there, it's awful. And so we get together and we can get with Buncombe County and different entities and go out and solve that problem. That has been very impactful with our relationship with the community.
That's new news to me. I did not realize that those were conversations that you all had, or different problems that you guys brainstormed. If somebody wants to get be like, hey, like there's this house and like I don't know what's going on. It looks terrible. It's just turning into a little bit of like the corner dump. What? Sure. How does somebody broach that conversation with you all?
We hope that our officers are having that conversation, because one of the things that we have changed is the way we do and work in the community is our officers have gone through training which is called problem solving based learning. And so what that means is not everything is early on in my career it was law enforcement driven activities. You enforce the law, you looked for whatever illegal activity, and you tried to make sure that was not going on. Today, society has changed dramatically. We have folks that live here, huge issues with some mental health in the area. We have a lot of elderly folks that live here that may not have anyone to look after and take care of them. And so we try to get our officers to slow down. So when we get a call for service, our officers go there, and we don't just leave because it wasn't a law enforcement call. It's not an enforcement issue. And so we go, and while we're there, we try to problem solving and find out what it is that we can do, how can we eliminate the issue. And one short story that I had when I was over the patrol division, I had an officer come in the office and he said, guess what I just did? And I said, what's that? And he said, I just had a call for service and I went to a house, it was an elderly lady, and she wanted me to change her front porch light. And I'm like, that's awesome. You think about that. When you don't have anyone to call, and you call law enforcement, and we have the ability and can go out there, because that's important. We don't think about those things, but an elderly person at home with their porch light not functioning that's
and
a quality of life issue.
For that individual, that was like a really big impact,
Absolutely.
right? So that's
a tiny part of what we do, but it's broader.
Right.
We go out into community, and like I say, our officers have got, like I say, they've been out actually picking up trash on the sides of the road. We've been actually working on areas that are public areas like parks that maybe we can go in and help do a little paint, a little repair, and also we go out and look for partners to help us. But we found that really connects us with the community. We get buy-in from the community, and we also when we run a campaign in a community, we go early on and listen to those concerns. We write it all down. We go out and we work on them, and then we come back and report. Right. This is what we've done. This is what we couldn't do. This is where we're trying to fix that. So that tying that in to our community has worked very well for us.
That's really exciting, and I think it's anybody who lives in Asheville should be excited to hear that, that proactive approach, and just recognizing that it's like all the little building blocks that make the big difference, and it's really the small things that add up that have a big ripple effect. As you know, you're running, obviously, so it's political office, and I'm guessing that there's probably something specific that you're like, hey, like I could leave my fingerprint in this way. What's going to be your vision, or what is the first thing that you're excited to tackle, or maybe not something that has any issues, but you're like, I know I can improve that. Or
Sure. Our improvement in regards to what we're doing, and we've already started on that because being part of the command staff and being able to be there,
head start,
and have these conversations, I feel like that we're very well advanced on that. And when we look forward at what we're doing and how we're going to handle, obviously, opioid problem here in Buncombe County, everyone's aware of it. Everyone knows that is a huge problem. Nationally, it's a problem. We're already at the table. We're already there doing what we can as law enforcement, pulling with the mental and medical providers and looking and working. And obviously, legislation is working with us, and it's going to take us a little while to work out of this. But again, that is a huge part of what we're doing, and going to certainly continue that. Again, I'm very excited about what we do in the community, driving that and making sure that we have that buy-in and that connection with our community is the only way we can be successful in law enforcement and what we do, and trying to turn that image around a little bit to let people know we're part of the community. My children were born and raised right here in Buncombe County, and I'm just like any other citizen here. It's important what goes on here in Buncombe County, and so but driving that, have had another program that we do that I want to enhance, and a lot of my stuff is things that we've been able to already have on the drawing board, but I want to enhance a lot of them. Absolutely. When we look at the where we are as the sheriff's office, we're really, really in a good place. One program that we have that I want to enhance is we have a senior reassurance program. And that program, we reach out to 162 elderly folks every week. A lot of people never hear about this or never know about it. But these are folks that don't have anyone to kind of look after them. They're
so
here.
Just doing like a touching base.
We have a lovely lady that she comes in, and that's a part-time job that we'd like to see that grow a little bit. But she comes in and makes contact with these folks to say good morning, to have a conversation they may not have. Wow. They build relationships. They look forward to those conversations. And something that we certainly do is we do a Christmas dinner where they're all invited and sit down, and that is just such a big time to sit down with those folks and do that. So that's an area that our elderly folks sometimes get overlooked, and all the things in the busyness of all we do, there's a tremendous need for that. And so I want to attach myself to that certainly as we move forward. But community and community outreach as something we've already started, but there's a lot more work that we're going to do, and we have seen the results are very impactful because we want to be approachable. Right. We don't want to wait till there's a problem.
And that's a proactive approach, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
You're visible, you're approachable, the conversations are going, and so you kind of, in theory, you should be able to see things before they happen.
Buncombe County is a very diverse environment, and so we want to make sure that we have that open door, that people are very comfortable with contact with us, because you see that nationally that can be a problem. If you're a law enforcement agency and you feel uncomfortable, that's certainly a priority on our list, is to make sure that everyone feels very comfortable with any kind of contact they have with the Buncombe County Sheriff's.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing about that. Really excited to hear that. There's the focus on that, and how would you not be excited? So obviously you're running. So what are the election dates people need to know about, and also where somebody is like, That's really interesting. I want to get to know more about you or get in contact with you or how to...
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. The filing actually will start next week as far as filing for offices.
Mm-hmm.
That's all offices that will be open for election. This coming up in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
The primary in Buncombe County will be May 8th.
Okay.
And that's probably, of course, then we go into the November election. So the primary to become the Buncombe County candidate it will be in May 8th. And so that's an important date to have. We have smartforsheriff.com, Randy Smart for Sheriff on Facebook. We have a lot of places that people can go look and kind of visit and see what we're doing and what we have done in the past. We have an event coming up at Club 11 on February the 23rd. That's a meet and greet.
Cool.
We like to do that. We like to say, folks, again, we want to be approachable. We want people to come in and have conversation with us. And again, I leave that is if elected sheriff, that's the way we'll operate our offices, where folks are very, very comfortable and have that open door and accessibility to the sheriff's office.
That's really exciting. Well, thanks for sharing that. And before we finish up here, what is something that people should know about you that maybe is not out there on Facebook or the website? What's the unique fact or just nothing special, but just
there's not much special. I mean, I'm a career law enforcement officer. I worked hard in my career, and I've worked my way up from the bottom to the top, and I think that's an accomplishment I'm very proud of. In law enforcement, it's a very difficult job to work your way through, and again, it's not always the safest environments you can have. But again, just the fact that I'm just a local native guy here that have raised my family here and had the honor to serve the folks here in Buncombe County.
Okay, great. Well, Mr. Smart, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate it,
Yes,
and
good
luck with the campaign this year.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out. We'll have the Facebook link and the website below and the information for the meet and greet. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, rate us, let us know how we're doing. And it's Apple Podcasts, not iTunes, as I previously mentioned in error earlier. Thank you all.